All right, welcome to another episode of Homestead Shop Talk podcast with three homestead dads. Al from Lumnah Acres, Ben from Hollar Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And there's no topic today. We're just going to see where today goes and how far we can take it. I have a question for you guys. Have you guys ever had a video that got demonetized on YouTube? I'm just curious.
I don't think we've had one get demonetized. We've had them get the little yellow symbol where they're like limited, and it's usually like butchering videos and stuff like that. That's what'll get limited. Actually, the last one we had limited, the 3-year-old climbed like 2 rungs up on a ladder behind me while I was working, and apparently the AI hated that, so it flagged our video. So yeah, I don't know, weird stuff. Yeah.
The robots are getting smarter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we had one age restricted one time.
Age restricted. No. So I just happened to look, and I have 20 videos that are limited, not completely demonetized. I think I have one maybe 2 that's completely demonetized. Like the 20 videos, most of those were the first year that I was doing YouTube. And it's all for using copyrighted music.
Yep.
And that was me not, I guess, not realizing how it worked. Like I would use whatever music.
Yep.
And I was like, this is a cool song, I want to use it. Like I didn't care anything. I just wanted the cool song on the video. But then I have one of our beefy boys that we butchered last year. That one got demonetized.
Do you know what for?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really tell you.
So I've been told in some things you can do, they don't like seeing blood. If you're showing the blood, you can put it in black and white.
What?
In editing, and then it's not red, so it's okay. So we also watch a lot of gun channels and shooting channels, and when they're shooting body torsos, they use zombified body torsos, so when you shoot them, it's squirting out green blood and not red blood. And I think that's how they get away from getting demonetized, because it's not red.
Wow. No. I mean, yeah, I kind of knew that. I don't think I really knew that, but I just assumed, like, yeah, my videos are edited. I don't think I show that stuff, or I try not to, but when you're butchering a cow, it's kind of hard.
Yep.
Because it's everywhere.
Yeah. Black and white or fuzz.
Yeah, so, but for whatever reason, so both of my steers that we butchered, one of them is still monetized. But it's like I forget which one it was, but one of them got demonetized. I even like tried to fight it, but they're like, yeah no, we can't. It didn't work, so. But I guess the reason why I looked is because that cured ham video I just did like last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
That one got limited demonetized.
That's because the AI doesn't like cured hams, or what?
I know. I was like, what? I can't believe, like, why is this limited?
That's not FDA inspected.
The algorithm don't like cured ham.
Nope.
So
that was a pretty innocuous video. Like I can't figure out. There must have been like a word combination that was said, and the AI's like, "Oh, triggered."
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So like, you could fight it by like, AI detects it first, I think, and then you could fight it by, I want like an actual person to review it. So I fought it, and then they said, okay, yeah, you're good. So I had to have a real person look at it, and that doesn't always work. Sometimes they're like, yeah, this is not gonna fly.
Yep.
But I thought that was funny because I was like, what, my cured ham video?
Yeah, what sucks about that is like it always limits it right in that first little bump that you get right when you post. That's when the video makes the most money, and they'll limit it, and then you miss out on making money on that video. Like it's a scam.
And what I don't like is that they don't tell you.
And they still play commercials on it.
Yes, they do.
that's what annoys me. We have a lot of friends that that do hunting and fishing and stuff, and they'll get demonetized or limited. And but if you watch any of their videos, they
Still got
always have
ads.
all the commercials on and all the ads. Like, oh wait, you say people won't put ads on it, but yet you're still playing your ads on it.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure.
You
Someone's
know,
making money.
it's ridiculous. Like way million years ago, I used to put my music up on YouTube. Well, I was trying to find an old song because that was many computers ago, many devices ago. So the only place I have some of my original songs is on my YouTube channel. Well, I never got across the threshold to even put ads. And back then it was like, no, I'm not putting ads on my music. It's free. I'm not going to do that. Well, I pulled up one of my videos and there's ads playing on it. I was like, are you kidding me? They're running ads on a not even monetizable channel. Like, this is garbage.
Yeah, I know. So what can you do? We're using their platform basically.
Yep.
I know it almost makes me not want to film those type of videos and me, butcher videos. But darn it, man, I like showing that stuff.
Right.
Well, what's the alternative? Like, have you guys looked into other platforms? I know, looking at BitChute or Rumble and stuff like that, there's just not enough people on those platforms. So what's the alternative?
So Rumble, I guess, is growing. I was just listening to a podcast the other day with the CEO, and they just signed a contract. The UFC, I don't know if it's UFC. They just signed a contract with somebody pretty big, so they're getting pretty big into sports. And I don't know what the AdSense is or how that works, but they have quite a bit. I think they have 57 million viewers or something like that. They're growing. I was surprised to hear how much they were growing. But yeah, they signed a huge contract. I want to see if I can find it. With some, I guess sports is big. They've been doing live streaming. So I don't know, is it Steven Crowder? He's a political. He's over on Rumble now, and I guess he gets huge. They're trying to get people like that to do the live streaming over there because they bring over the big eyeballs, so that's helping them grow.
So we've had our own Patreon, probably the last 5 years, and I put random. That's why I've been putting my uncensored stuff up. They get the censored stuff on our channel, like the beef butchery that got censored, that got demonetized. They can find the uncensored version on our Patreon, and that's what I do. I mean, I think I have it maybe as low as $2 or $3.
Well, that's
they
not
can
bad.
go on there and watch uncensored of me, butchering animals. There's some other random stuff on there, but
there's this. I have two sides of it. As someone who we make our money on the internet, dance puppet dance, but there is some information that I would absolutely share for free. And it's like the butchering. You know how hard it is to learn butchering from the internet. It's really one of those things you got to get your hands in there. But I have found some really good videos. Well, the thing I'm seeing now is everybody, because of the censorship issue, everybody's going behind a paywall. And what happens is, the problem I found with search engines, even DuckDuckGo, it's getting harder and harder to find stuff on a search engine. All you get is mainstream results on your search. Good luck finding someone who is, they have their own website, they're behind a paywall. They might have the video that would help, but you're never going to find it with just a random internet search. So it's one of those things. It's like, well, what's the answer? Do we just keep posting censored stuff and have to lead people over to your platform from there? Do we all want to do a members area type of thing? What's the answer? These are questions that I know I've been asking.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, it's hard. And then you gotta, just filming those videos too are so hard.
That's what I was gonna say. Filming butchering videos are hard because you're usually dirty and messy, and then you gotta get your camera out and
Man,
and then
we had our
go day.
We had our neighbor film our first pig class, And
Yep.
I mean, she got everything. I never had to grab that camera. I never had to do anything. She even came and like found me while I'd be in the middle of like washing my hands and be like, okay, you want to explain what you just did? And I was just like, this is how you film a butchering day. You got to have a camera person.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
perfect.
Especially when you're teaching a class.
Yeah.
Now, did that video get demonetized on you? How'd you guys do with the pig ones?
We don't show hardly anything.
Yeah.
We have the footage archived, so we could probably, make a off-platform video where it's got the whole, uncensored, uncut version. But
Yep.
The bandwidth right now, mentally, I know Meg doesn't have the bandwidth to start doing extra content for other places. We've talked about it. I don't know. Maybe you guys have talked about it too. What are your thoughts on getting an editor? Do you think you could relinquish control?
I think the control part, and I would be hard but I think one of them I can't wrap my mind around. How do you get the content to them if they're not local? Like, I know you can upload it, but
The cloud.
our average video has I would say I go through between 2 hours and 6 hours of raw video footage and shot in 4K. So how do you upload that to an editor, and then how do they go through that if they're not there knowing what's going on?
You could always just like send them your memory cards, and then you just get a schedule going to where what you filmed today is going to be next week's video, kind of thing. I mean, we've done that before. We've been like 3-4 days ahead on our filming schedule. And like, it's kind of cool because you have this little buffer thing. And then, if something goes wrong, it's like, well, we've already got 3 videos in the chamber. So if we don't film today, we're good. That's not how we're doing it right now, but we've done that in the past. So, I mean, I suppose it could work that way.
I think if you did that, you'd have to be like 2 weeks to a month behind almost, just with all the back and forth.
I think there'd be a lot of setup, it'd probably be a lot of work up front of like, hey, this is how I like it, or this is how I want it. Don't try to do it all crazy like you think you should do it.
It's a control thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, somebody might come in and be like, oh no, it's maybe they want it all fast paced or something like that, and bells and whistles, but that's not really what we do, so it kind of has to match.
Yeah, it has to match what your viewers, I would think, are probably used to too when it comes to what they go to your channel for sure.
But they would probably do a better job, honestly, if that's what they do.
Right.
But it's been one of those things. We've talked about it just to change stuff up, and I think what it means for me is like I have to completely change how I film stuff. Like, I have to
that too.
Like, the whole time you're doing it, shoot for the editor, not just shoot for the edit. Like, I would have to stop and be like, hey, cut out the part where the baby's screaming bloody murder because someone walked by her and looked at her weird. That's all. That's all the stuff that now all of a sudden has to be like, you have to stop and do something because I'll hand Meg the camera or the footage, and she'll get to see the epic meltdowns by the toddler, and she just laughs and delete. So it would be different. It would be real different having an editor.
We've had editors do my Facebook videos, but they're just taking old footage.
Yeah, they're just working with already Jason approved footage.
And I don't know about you guys, but when we're building and doing stuff in video, and it's like in my head, I'm like editing what we're recording already. So when I have it on the computer, it's already like pre-programmed in my head what we're doing. So I don't know. I wonder how that would work if it was somebody else doing it and they weren't there seeing in real life what you were doing. But
I think I would probably try it just to see how it would look. Maybe even if it's maybe one video a week, somebody else does it, and see what that looks like. And even just to relieve me from one video edit a week, like that's huge. That gives me like a whole extra day almost to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd get if I gave up my editing, I'd get half my time back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, what would I do with all my time, all that time? I could build more projects.
I think what's funny is a lot of people don't realize YouTubing and like doing what we're doing. YouTubing is a full-time job. Me and Meg were adding it up. It's like, I film all day and then she edits the next day. It's 8 hours of work a day. It might not be 8 hours on my part and 8 hours on her part, but by the end of the week, it's a full-time job worth of work in the filming and the editing. And yeah, getting the comments of, yeah, it must be nice. You have all this free time. It's like, this is a full-time job. It's not as cushy and awesome as people might think, but I mean, I guess think that if you want.
Right.
I had more free time when I worked full-time and had a homestead without videoing it.
Amen.
It's just so when you get into it, you don't think that, but I'll definitely say that.
I think it was just today I had somebody reach out to me asking me if I needed an editor. I might hit him up and just to see what he has to say about it.
That's funny.
And if you do it right, the people watching won't even know that you had an editor, that you have one.
Yep.
Right.
It should be seamless.
Right. If you can find the right fit for your channel, for sure.
Yeah. So what's up, guys? Did you guys have anything crazy to do this past week?
Man, I cut down.
Crazy.
Yeah, I cut down all my trees.
All of them?
All but two. So.
Oh, the ones by the house.
Yeah, the ones by the house. Like, it's real nice in the summertime because they completely shade out the house. They keep the house way cooler. But we're getting ready to start this addition, and it was like, all right, well, two of them got to go, so we took those out. And then today, that was what we did all day. It was like, change of plans. It was like, we got to take out these other three. So we took them. We've taken out 5. I've got 2 left, but they're out away from the house, so they can stay. But man, like the last couple trips of hauling brush down with the tractor, coming back up the hill, it's like, wow, that looks so empty and just naked up there on the hill.
Exposed.
I feel like everybody can see us up on this hill. Feel naked.
So when do you think you're going to actually start on the build?
Tomorrow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, nice. I'm to the point, like, the only thing holding me up is me. It's really not that complicated of a build. I actually just talked to a friend tonight, right before the podcast, that he's got a lot of building experience, and I was like, okay, here's the questions I've got. Am I on the right track? And he pretty much confirmed everything that, the direction I was going. So yeah, I'm ready to start doing my footers and getting everything going on.
That's cool.
It's gonna be a race.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool.
Be awesome.
It's always a race. Yeah.
It's always a race. You know what? I've always done better with deadlines. I enjoy deadlines. Like, it's
Under
just
pressure.
like, yes, yeah, bring the pressure.
Yeah.
Did you figure out your roof line? How you gonna?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I did, and then talking to him, I told him our plans. We're gonna make it this wide, this long, and yada yada. Told him how I was doing the roof, and he's like, "Why don't you just make it bigger and turn the whole thing into a double wide, and then, then you've got it. Change the roof line, redo the peak and all that." And it's just like, dang it, he's right. I guess we're gonna make it another 2 feet wider, and we'll just basically turn it into a double wide.
The whole length.
You know the whole length?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. You guys will love that, I'm sure. Doubling the size of everything.
Yeah.
Man, I found a website that it's like a blog, and they've got all sorts of various like mobile homes and things that people have done to mobile homes. I found one, and these people made a 2-story addition for their mobile home. Put a half basement under the one they've got, and then a full basement under the addition. Like, this is a mobile McMansion. Like, the amount of work they did to it, they're never moving it again. It's not a mobile home, it's a home. And I found out that this home is the next county over.
Wow.
It's like,
Let's go
wow.
see it.
Yeah, I want to go see it. Show me what you did, because now I'm thinking I need a basement.
Yeah, I know somebody who did that. They did they did a basement addition and then a garage, and so it's like a full size house. But the reason they did it is at least in our area, the mobile homes go down in value, so his taxes over years depreciate instead of a house where your taxes go up or stay the same. On a mobile home, they go down. So he's like, why not just do a mobile home? He's got a full foundation and he's got everything just like everybody else has.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, mobile homes. North Carolina doesn't really like mobile homes very much. The things that I've read, it's like, yeah, it's just like that. They depreciate. They on paper they just considered a pile of junk. And it's like, that's fine. That's fine.
It's hard to get a loan on them.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm the king of my pile of junk.
Right.
Which is crazy because there's mobile homes everywhere around here.
Yeah. Yeah, there are.
I mean, there's still there's actually businesses that build mobile homes still.
Oh yeah.
So
there's
what?
homes double wide still.
Yeah, we have a Clayton Homes or something like that.
Yeah.
Right in town. So like they're building them and selling them, and I think what's crazy is like they're like $150,000 like base. Like, I couldn't believe how expensive the new ones are. Like for that price, man, you could do the shed to house thing and have way better built. I mean, that's just me. If we didn't do the mobile home thing, we probably would have done a shed to house.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when did you guys change your minds about the build? Was that just like something recently? Like, okay, we're gonna do it
This morning.
Awesome.
We I don't know, for probably the past 2 weeks, I think we've gone back and forth on everything we're doing. And this morning it was like, well, I guess I can go get the stuff to start working on footers this morning. And so then we walked out there and we're looking through the window and it's like, okay, here's a couple boards, like this is going to be our view. And it's like, well, let's go this way and let's make it bigger this way, and then I thought we had like settled, and then by the end of the day it's like, well, why don't we just basically make a double wide, and we'll just it changes daily until there's actually concrete on the ground. It's
Right.
gonna probably keep changing.
Perfect. That's cool though. So you guys are gonna be busy in the planning stage and designing and drawing everything and going on Pinterest and seeing what you
Pinterest. all Pinterest does is cause marital strife.
So did you get your stumps out? You were working on those last week, right?
You know what? I gave up on the stumps. I'm like 99% certain that these red oaks don't coppice, so they're not going to resprout from the stump. But I'll probably kill them anyways. Just drill down into the stump, make a couple holes, and poison them so they die real good. And then the poison would keep termites out of them. Not that I'm real worried about termites, but I ended up just cutting them off at the ground. The way I'm doing this, the pylons that we're gonna build, I mean, I'm gonna hit roots, period. Like that's just a fact of life. That there's trees here, there's gonna be roots, so we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. If I gotta chop out roots, I'll chop out roots. But
lots of Sawzall blades.
Yep, I'll just go to Harbor Freight and buy the biggest box of Sawzall blades they got, and I'll just deal with it.
Yep.
It's gonna be some fun content ahead then for you.
I hope so. I'll say this: I've been like this close to a panic attack every time I think about posting construction content. We got so absolutely beat to death in the comments when we were building this thing, because you have all your armchair quarterbacks. I mean, we had people threaten us. We had people getting our phone numbers and calling us to tell us we're doing stuff wrong. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
we get up daily.
yeah. Yeah, I bet
Every
you
time
do.
we do something, we get the emails and this and that. It's like
It's
there's
crazy,
like
man.
10 ways to skin a cat. There's so
Yeah.
many different ways to do it.
I I think what's frustrating is, I'll look at the codes. What are the building codes here? And you can build it the way it's supposed to be built here, and someone in Florida is going to be like, your house is going to blow away in a hurricane. It's like, well, the codes here are for here. You're in Florida. You have different building codes.
Yep.
So it's just people don't think like that. So it's just
When you guys are doing like say you're filming during the filming of your videos, in your head, do you picture all the comments that are going to come up, and then do you try to answer them as you're filming? Like,
absolutely, absolutely. I'll do something and I can hear the comments and I'll be like,
yeah,
Meg, I'll walk over to the camera. Meg, make sure you don't show that.
yeah. In my head, I'm thinking like, I know what they're gonna ask, and so in my head, I'm like, well, I should answer that right now. And of course, you don't get them all, but I don't know. Sometimes that bugs me. Like, I shouldn't have to think about the comments ahead of time. I should just do my thing and then just let them comment. It's kind of it's a struggle.
I'll give usually when I'm doing electrical, I'll give my disclaimer. I am not an electrician.
yeah.
Like, don't copy me. I'm just doing it. I know what I'm doing, but you don't need to copy me. This is not a how-to.
Yep. Yeah, that's especially anything regarding electricity. You have to specifically say, I'm not an electrician. I've learned this. I've yada yada. I mean, you know the drill. There was stuff I got beat up on that people, told me I was doing wrong, and the video was literally me undoing the way the mobile home was built in the first place. And they're beating me up like I did it that way in the first place. It's like, no, we just got here. I'm undoing this death trap that came from the factory. Like, yeah, just stuff like that. The commenters will get in your head and drive you insane if you let them.
Yeah, they will. I know. But sometimes I've tried to, I don't know. It's hard to remember that too sometimes, because I'm like, okay, maybe they're right. Maybe I should do it this way. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I just need to figure it out myself.
And sometimes you can learn some good things sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
So it's kind of hard, like that happy medium, because you can drive yourself bonkers going through them and listening to them all. But then at the same time, sometimes you do learn some things. So it's kind of like,
sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're
right.
Great.
So you got to find the happy medium. Like, how do you not just completely shut off from reading the comments?
Right. That's
Kinda.
hard.
That's the hard part.
That you pretty much said it right there. Every now and then we'll just have a run where we get a lot of negative comments, and we have to quit. We have to quit reading comments, because it's that, protect your own emotional state. Otherwise, it's not very fun. You feel like a prisoner in your own home. Right. But we do enjoy the comments, because it's the percentage. You'll get 300 really good comments and then one bad one. And that one bad one is what sticks. That's the one that you pay attention to. And I don't know why it's that way. I don't know, I've worked in a machine shop. It's a very rough environment. You have to have a very thick skin to survive. And so I don't know why all of a sudden it's like, a mean comment on the internet. Oh, that hurt. I don't know if I'm getting soft. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. So I was doing electrical this week. We got quite a few comments and emails, and
nice.
That was when we first started. So now we have it done. So as we're recording this video, those videos will be out by the time this podcast is out. So it'll be interesting to see what I get for comments from all the stuff that people haven't seen yet. But
that's great.
But yes, we have all of the power ran out to the barn. So we did all the underground work, and then we got all the power ran out. We got the junction, the breaker box out installed. We got lights. We got outlets. So that's awesome. But I'm sure I did something wrong. They'll let me know.
You'll find out.
I'll find out. But
She had to run power underground, you say?
yeah, I ran it underground from the workshop over to the barn.
She had a trench?
Yeah, we trenched that. Trying to think, like a month ago, maybe we had a warm up. So I buried the
remember you
conduit.
talking about that.
You gotta think ahead.
Yeah, this time of the year you got to think ahead, and I'm glad we did. So, yeah,
That's
so we
good.
pulled all the wires, did all the fun stuff.
Okay.
So I ran all of the wires in the barn in the metal conduit, flexible conduit kind of thing, so that way the critters can't chew on it. But I was told that was wrong. I shouldn't do that. I should put it in burial. I'm like, mouse can still chew through underground rated burial conduit or rubber. That's not going to stop them. So, then we packed coffee. We did our coffee sale this week, so we spent one day packing. It's fun to do that because it's something different. I don't know. I enjoy. We do it every other week, so it's kind of fun. It's a different process.
So when you say pack coffee, you pack the coffee beans in the bag?
No.
Is that what you do? Or what do you do?
No, so we have a
Or just pack it to ship it?
Yeah, we just pack it to ship it.
Okay.
We have the local roaster who roasts it a couple of days before. We get everything over, and then we go through everything and organize it, and then we pack all the orders together and ship them out.
Cool. It looks like you always sell out.
We have. Usually we sell out within like 12 hours usually. It's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, pay attention, listeners who want coffee. You got to be in the first like 4 hours if you want all the coffee.
Yeah, if you want to have like the whole selection, you got to probably be within the first half hour to an hour, and then after that, it gets limited. And it's funny because it's like we'll switch like the inventory, like we'll up like the decaf, or we'll up whatever it is because that one sold out first last time. Then we'll up it, and it helps a little bit, but it doesn't. So it's just weird.
You ever get the emails of people mad at you because you sold out?
Yep. We get people that are mad at us that sell out. We keep everything out of stock on the website. And we say this when we're talking about it. So we're like, okay, coffee is sold out. It's going to go live at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I feel bad because we say it like when we're talking about the coffee going live, we'll say it like 3 or 4 times. And no fail, Gina will get an email. It's like 1 o'clock. I just went on your website. It's all sold out. It's like, yeah, it's because it doesn't go live until 3 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, back when Meg was doing the soap thing, oh my gosh, like exactly the same thing. The store says sold out. Restock is just like you said. Same thing. They'll email, you're out of stock. Well, the store hasn't hit the restock yet. Like, just calm down. And then another email, because she would sell out in like 45 minutes.
Yep.
Everything's still out of stock. You're dumb. That kind of stuff. And it's just like, don't know what to tell you. You got the website campers that'll sit there and hit refresh over and over. And then once they know what they want, they fill their cart and they check out. It's like, it goes quick. You got to be serious.
And it's all, like the soap is all small batch stuff. And we do our coffee. It's just small batch stuff. So you can only do so much at a time.
Yep.
I'm just like, you guys, you want to have the fresh soap. We want to have fresh coffee. So we don't want to just get, I'm sure we could go online and find like a supplier and buy bulk Folgers or something and just rebag it. It's like, that's not what we want to do.
Yeah.
No.
We work with a local friend and they roast it that week usually, or that week or or a couple of days before, and they bag it up, quickly. And so we actually had some sun. I don't know about you guys. I think we had like 2 months without any full sun. We think we had like partly sunny. I've been running my generator probably all of December and all of January. We finally had sun this week and it felt good.
Really?
In 2 days so far, full sun. So the crazy thing is, if we get full sun, I'll charge my batteries up in 2 hours. And then we can use whatever we want for power all day long. And it's like still going. But if we have a cloudy day, I got to run my generator for 2-3 hours to charge the batteries. So
I don't know if you can tell, but I actually am a little bit sunburned from being outside the past. Like Saturday was beautiful. Sunday was like white haze. The entire sky was grayed out. And then today was beautiful. So being out in the sun, it's like I can feel it on my head and my cheeks. Like, ooh, I got a little bit of sun today. Yes, we are enjoying full sun.
Nice.
Which is temperatures
like spring.
Yeah, it actually does feel like spring.
60s?
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Maybe late 50s?
I'm hearing middle of February till middle of March. We're supposed to get like a polar vortex for the whole East Coast. So,
wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
we haven't really had much of like winter. Like it's been winter, but it hasn't been like snowy and usually if it's like that, we'll get hammered towards the end. And I just saw somebody posted something on Facebook, and it was like somebody that they follow on news, and it was like a news channel. It was like, yep, we're getting the polar vortex. And it was like the whole East Coast all the way down to Florida. I was like, oh, yeah.
wow. Yeah, I was at Lowe's, and I saw people buying seeds. I saw people buying soil. It was like 65 degrees, and I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that just yet.
Right.
I don't
This
know.
is fall, spring. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
I know.
Like oh, it's so nice, but I know it's not gonna last.
I didn't want to burst their bubble. They look excited to grow
I'm
something.
sure they
So
are.
I was like,
Hey,
all
spring
right,
fever.
You do it. You do it.
Yep.
Get it done.
My cow jumped over the fence the other day.
What?
Yep,
What?
she was in heat.
Milk cow?
Is there a
No, cow.
bowl? Is there a bowl nearby?
No, there's no bowl nearby. It was almost feeding time, and she was out of hay. I went in the house I was out at the barn barn we're building doing something. I rode up to the house, went to talk to the girls, and we were gonna go do chores. And I look out the window, and I'm like, the cows are out. I'm like, how did they get out? And then when I got down there, the top electrical line was covered in poo, and then I could see there was like hoof marks in the snow right there. So they jumped over somehow.
Wow. How tall
Man.
is that fence? Like 4 foot?
It's over 4 feet high. Yeah, it's probably 4.5 feet. I'm like, I wish I saw it.
Yeah.
Man, cows in heat are something else. Like
They are.
they're dangerous. They're ridiculous.
Yep.
Our dairy cow, when we still had her, I mean, every 3 weeks it was like clockwork.
Mhm.
Every time she'd come
Yep.
in heat, she just starts acting the fool. She's a grouch. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, she was
Wow.
all rubbing up on me, wouldn't let me she's like pushed me into the gate in the morning. I'm like, what is going on? And then something else, and we're walking back, and she was doing something else, and we were bringing it back from the milking stand, and she was like, I think she's in heat. And then that afternoon, she jumped the fence. But yeah, it's funny. Like they'll do all different things. One time they'll just be grumpy. One time they won't move. One time they're jumping, and
You have
yeah,
it
every 3
electrified?
weeks. What's that?
It's electrified?
Yep, it's electrified.
The whole fence?
The whole fence. Yep. But it's.
Wow.
I mean, it's one of the battery-powered ones, so it's not.
Mm.
That's one thing I'm excited about having the barn. Is in the barn, I got power. I put outlets outside, and we're gonna have it set up so we can have a 110 fence charger, and we'll do a lot of the fences outside. We'll just kind of piggyback, kind of like what Ben has, so that way
Yeah.
we can get power all over the homestead for the.
I know. I can't wait to finish
Fence.
my fencing and do that.
You know, it's nice until you pick up the camera and everywhere you go on the property, you hear the clicking because you're never too far from a fence.
Yep.
It'll drive your editor crazy.
It'll be interesting to see if my fence does that. Like, what is it? What Energizer do you have?
It's the biggest one Tractor Supply sells. It's like a
That's fun.
I don't know, 7 joule fence, 6.7 joule fence. So it's a pretty big.
Okay.
I know if it shocks you,
Okay.
it'll shock the taste out of your mouth. That thing hits so hard. I've seen pigs do complete backflips. Like it's no joke. You learn not to try to step over that chicken net. It's not like
Yep.
those little solar powered energizers. You will
It's crazy.
walk around the net and unplug it.
It is crazy the difference between a 110 Energizer and a solar Energizer. I mean, the solar Energizers work. They do work, but they don't hurt.
Yeah.
If you get hit by a 110, you feel it usually for like the rest of the day. Like you'll feel some kind of something in one of your muscles.
Yeah.
And maybe the next day you'll feel it too when you wake up.
You might pee your pants. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, whenever our cows, it didn't happen very often, but the steer, every now and then he'd decide that he was tired of being in the fence, and he would. It's usually when they're grazing and they're trying to get that grass that's just outside the fence, and they'll have their head underneath that wire, because we just ran them with a single wire, and he'd get shocked a couple times, and that little Energizer didn't hurt him. And so once they know that it's not hitting very hard, they just plow right through and go eat whatever the heck they wanted, usually my trees. Well, I would make sure as soon as I got them back in, I'd run a line over and hook to the big fence, and you'd watch them, and they'd come over, and I'd just sit there and wait. And you watch them, and they test it, and they'll touch that fence with their nose, and that first shock, man, you can see the arc from that wire right on their nose, and all of a sudden they respect that fence again, and you can put it back on the solar energizer, and they're not going to mess with that big fence anymore.
So I'm looking forward to having the 110 hooked up again. But it'll be interesting to see if ours does the same thing that yours does. I guess it's going to, if you have a newer energizer. I didn't know if you just had like some old one that you've had forever, or if it was a new one.
We got it not too long after we got here, so
yeah, so it's not that old.
It's like 3 years old, something like that.
Yeah, it's not one that's like 40 years old that you got at a yard sale or something.
No, actually, my neighbor tried to give me one of those old ones, from like the 60s or something like that. Great big, heavy duty. It's a constant voltage. I
have one of those.
Man, there's my dad had this it was a shocker for we always used it to keep the dogs out. If we didn't want the dogs getting in the garden, we'd run a hot wire around and it would keep the dog out. Well, that one was no joke. It was a little box, but it was constant voltage. Well, I had ended up borrowing that thing from my dad back when we lived in California because I wanted to keep chickens out of a certain part of the yard. Well, yeah, after I watched a chicken get lit up, and because it's constant voltage, it's not that snap where it's, pulses. No, that chicken hit the wire and then just arched up and couldn't get off the fence, and it's just sitting there getting zapped to death. And it was just oh goodness. And so, after I went and got the chicken off the fence, it's just kind of sitting there what the heck happened? If chickens were like cats, chickens were like cats, it just used up a couple of its extra lives.
Fried chicken.
Yeah, after that it was I'm not real cool with the constant voltage shockers. They work, but man.
Well, they'll burn through the poly fence too.
Yeah.
Because I had one.
I think it tells you not to use one of those.
Yeah, I had one that I originally got back at when we lived. This was back before Olivia was born. We had horses and we had pigs and stuff, but we always used the metal wire. And then I don't know, must have been when we moved back here, and I put it up for maybe the pigs or something. Next thing I know, I had the poly rope and it burnt right through it. I'm I guess that's the wrong picture. Live and learn.
Actually, I'd be curious. Can either of you guys, what kind of mics do you have for your cameras?
I have a Rode mic.
Do you know which one? Is it phantom powered or is it powered by the camera? Does it have its own battery? Do you have to turn it on, or does it just turn on when you turn on the camera?
It turns on when the camera turns on and turns off when the camera turns off.
So that's the kind of Rode mic we have. I'm not sure of the number, but
it's like a Rode mic Plus. I think I think it's one of their more expensive ones. I think I don't have it right here.
Does yours? I think it's because our Rode mic is cheaper. I've got another microphone. It's another shotgun mic, but it's got its own power supply, and so we don't use it because you got to turn it off and on, and it never fails. You pick up the camera, start talking to it, finish up, turn it around, and I forgot to turn my microphone on. So
and the batteries went dead and you didn't realize it.
Yes. So I'm kind of wondering if the reason we could pick up the clicking so much is because our Rode mic's too cheap, and it just picks up, interference. I don't know. I'd have to try another microphone and see.
I like the one I have. I've used that one I've had it for, it's been 4 years, the same mic. I like it.
We went to the DJI Wireless mics that clip onto you, so we each have a mic on us.
Are they square?
What's that?
Are they square? Or no,
Yeah.
the DJI.
The DJI, they're rectangle, but the DJI has a magnetic clip, so you can have like a magnet out here, and inside you can put the mic. But also, what you can do is you can plug a lavalier mic into it. So I'll just keep what we do now is we put the lavalier mics, clip them so inside, so really nobody sees them. Then we just put them in our pocket.
It does make for a different experience, I think, with if you have a mic right here on your lapel.
And if I'm up on a ladder working or something, you can still hear me talking. Or if you're far away from the camera, you can still hear yourself talking when you afterwards. We've had good luck with those.
I've thought about getting a lapel mic, but sometimes it's nice to know that you're out of range of the camera.
I've never been. I shouldn't say that. If I go for like a side-by-side ride and leave the camera, we'll be out. But if you can go quite a bit of different distance with the DJI ones and you don't lose it, because Gina's been up at the house and she hasn't shut her mic off. Like she'll run up to the house to get something, and I'll be down still recording at the barn. And then when I'm in editing, I can hear her in the house talking to Olivia or something. And
that's quite a range.
It's a decent range away. So
it looks like I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to Iowa.
Iowa.
At the McMurray Hatchery Fest.
Oh, cool.
They had asked me, and we're all going. The whole family's going. It's the end of June. Now we've been over there before. Last year, I went and filmed their hatchery, and there is nothing in Iowa.
A lot of corn.
I mean, it's flat. Like, it's wild. I mean, that was the first time seeing, like, I guess it's the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
Of seeing all, like, corn fields. I had never seen that in person. It's all like a big, giant square grid.
Yeah.
Did you drive or fly over it?
We drove. We drove.
You drove. Okay.
It's like a 2-day drive.
You flying this time?
We're debating. We're looking at flights. At first, we're like, let's just drive. I'd rather drive than fly. But now I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do.
It'll be interesting your perspective if you've driven through it one time, and then if you get to see it from above, like all the cornfields and everything.
Yeah, it's a long drive. I mean, it was just straight, flat. No mountains. It's pretty wild to see though, because we stopped by the owner of McMurray. His house is in the middle of cornfields. Like, he has like a square lot. I forget what he's on, maybe 2 acres or something. And his property just looks so different than, like, because they're all around. He's surrounded by cornfields. And then you have his property, and he has, he's moving animals around. He has chickens, and like mostly everyone around him don't have that.
Or they just get cornfields.
It's all cornfields.
Yep.
So it's wild. Like, I was like, I can't even think how this would be, because it just like messes with your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, I have a pile of corn that they just give me for my animals. I'm like, well, that's a plus, I guess. But I don't know. So it'd be interesting to go. Charles Dowding.
Yeah, Charles. I saw that the other day.
He's gonna be
Charles,
which is might be pretty cool to see him.
Yeah. He posted something on Instagram the other day about the jet spraying. I saw it like on Instagram.
Oh, really?
It was like all photos of the sky, and I'm like, is he doing this on purpose? And then I read it down below, and he was saying something about them spraying and taking basically about the sunlight, and it affects gardening, and he's gonna be having a video on something. I'm like, yep, I'll have to try to remind myself to watch that one.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
He'll be a good guy to meet.
It's the subject we can't talk about, but everybody knows about.
Cloud seeding.
Yep.
That's what they call it now.
It's geoengineering.
But they'll talk about it in the newspaper. They just call it cloud seeding.
Yeah.
The gardening in the sky.
gardening in the sky. So now, what are you talking about? Do you have a topic that you?
I think I'm talking about like building chicken tractors,
Cool.
like how to build them and stuff.
Yep. We met Ginger last year when we went down to the like homesteading festival in southern New Hampshire. Ginger was there.
Okay, yeah, she's cool.
McMurray Hatchery. Tom was supposed to be there, but he couldn't make it, so we met Ginger.
Yeah, they're both super nice people.
Yeah, McMurray's a bunch of good people.
Now, how long is that one? Is it a weekend, 3-day event, or?
Actually, I think the event's like 2 days, but I think the third day they're having some kind of chick hatching day. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I think it's going to be at the hatchery. I don't know if we're going to stay for that, but we're at least going to be there 2 days.
Yep. Is the event at the hatchery?
No, it's in the same town.
Okay.
I think it's at like an event fair center in town or something. That's close by. I mean, it's just a small town. But the thing is, going to the events, we always bring our own food.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, there's not really nothing around there. So if we fly, it's like, am I going to bring a cooler with me?
Right.
So we're kind of weighing out our options here. We're thinking what we're going to do. But if we drive, we could just bring all our food.
Right.
But flying can be harder to do.
Right. You have to get a cooler and put a padlock on it, and
I'm just gonna bring my ham.
Bring your ham. There you go. Bring your prosciutto.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it should be fun though. So yeah, I think I just did fencing this week. Did fencing today. Lots of fencing. I did manage to go to our local Habitat for Humanity store. And you guys have a Habitat for Humanity, Al?
Not anywhere super local.
Mm-hmm. No. They're always kind of hit and miss here.
Yep.
But I ended up finding like a cabinet. We're trying to redo our mudroom.
Yep.
We're thinking once we eventually do our kitchen, is that because it's so small, or it's smaller, the kitchen, is that, all the cooking stuff, we're going to have to maybe put in our mudroom into another cabinet.
Yep.
So Lorraine doesn't have to keep on going up and down our basement, for our canner and pots and pans and stuff like that. So I ended up finding this cabinet at the Restore, and I'll probably have to redo it somehow. But what's cool about this Restore is they have records in the back that I'd like to think that I'm the only person that knows about these records.
I know, we've looked at them.
Except for me and Ben. But
actually, the kids broke our record player, so we don't really look at them anymore.
So I get excited every time I go. Like, I'm just gonna stop by real quick and see what they got. And sometimes I find some really cool records because I collect records. And this last time I was there, I was flipping through the records, and I always tell when there's new ones because they weren't there the previous week. So I was like, oh, they must have got a new shipment in. And so I was flipping through the records, and this one guy, he comes up behind me. He has both hands in his pockets, right? And he's like, he's like kind of whispering to me, like almost like he doesn't want somebody to hear him. He's like, hey, so my father-in-law has like hundreds of these, and he's telling me this, right? He's like, and he's selling them. And I was like, I'm looking up at him because I'm like on the floor, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I was like, what does he have? Like 45s, LPs? And he's like, he said he has big ones and little ones. Like he wouldn't know what he like. He's like, I don't know what he has. He's like, but he's like telling me this in this soft, like almost like secretive voice, which is kind of creepy. Yeah, he's like, don't tell anybody, but my father-in-law has these hundreds of LPs, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, yeah, I'm not interested, but 20 years ago, I definitely would have followed this guy home. I'm like, I don't consider myself like a huge record collector right now in my life, but at one point I was, and I definitely would have followed that guy home.
That's funny.
So
Man.
like, I have.
Vinyl's so cool. Like, that is a rabbit hole to go down.
I know I could. Yeah, there were times in my life where every Saturday, I'd spend $200 every Saturday buying records. I'd hit up every thrift store and record store. It was like an hour radius from me every Saturday, and I would just do that.
You still have them all?
No, I don't remember how many I had at one time, but I brought them all with us when we moved out here. And slowly for the last 7 years that we've been here, I've kind of pared down a lot. Just we don't have space, and we're just like getting rid of some, just keeping the ones that I guess that I really want to keep. And I still have a ton. It seems like every winter I get rid of some. And then lately I've been in the mood to buy more though. So, but I'm still not as bad as I used to be.
That's funny. I think the only time I ever messed with them was when we found like my mom and dad's when we were kids. They had, I don't know, the little ones, are those 45s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Kung Fu Master and stuff like that we used to listen to.
Man, when we were cleaning out the farmhouse when we got here, there's an old record player in the barn, and I found a whole bunch of records in the not only the garbage pile, but in the farmhouse. And there were straight up some records I had to like yoink. Sorry kids, you're not listening to that one. Like Johnny Rebel, David Allan Coe. I mean, some of those old records, people who know will know. Like, and it was like, a couple of them had the songs on there. It was like, holy cow! Like, yeah, these aren't going to see the light of day. But so the kids, they come walking up one day and they're like, "Hey, who's?" Well, they say Elvis Parsley. Oh, Elvis Presley, you mean? And
That's
so,
funny.
we did some music appreciation.
Music appreciation.
That's been my, if I ever start another podcast or YouTube channel, it'll be a music one. I think that's what I would do. If I could figure out how to play records on a video while I talk, so that way I could talk in between playing the records, probably wouldn't be monetized. But I kind of just want to something to, I guess, document some of the music I have, that other people can listen to if they wanted to.
That'd be cool.
I think that, and just to have, but we'll see.
Just the whole copyright thing gets in the...
I
Makes
know.
it all complicated.
Makes it no fun. Well, I think that was a good talk, guys.
This was fun tonight.
I had a good time.
Time flies. Yeah, especially these ones where we have no topic and we're just talking. Time flies.
We were all over the place tonight. It was cool.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast and watching the videos and our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And hopefully you guys have an awesome week, an exciting week. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Catch you later.